Just like football, business moves fast. And when you need funding, there's no time to wait. At Fleximize, we keep things simple. No penalties, no red cards, just fast, flexible business loans. We only ask for the essentials and you'll get a decision within 24 hours. Once approved, the funds are in your account the same day. Fleximize, let's fund your goals.
Hello and welcome back to Matchday Live, streaming on X, YouTube, Facebook and Town TV. Proudly brought to you by our headline digital partner, Fleximize, the UK's award-winning lender offering fast, flexible business loans. It's the East Anglian Derby. Today, Ipswich Town take on Norwich City at Carrow Road in the Sky Bet Championship in what is one of the biggest meetings between the sides in recent memory. Earlier in the season, Town produced a commanding 3-1 win at Portman Road that ended a 16-year wait. And today, there's the chance to do it again and complete the league double. There's a real buzz building across Suffolk and Norfolk as we edge closer to kick-off, with Town unbeaten in 8 and right in the promotion mix as the season reaches its final stages. And we've got all the build-up right here, including team news, action from the reverse fixture, plus 2 Town legends joining us to reflect on what this game means to players and fans. It all starts here on Matchday Live.
Right, today it's about us, yeah? Us and our people. Every one of these fans here, yeah, and I'm sure this means a childhood and it means it to us too, yeah? Do yourself proud today. Do them proud too, eh? Intensity, fight, and everything, but we play. We're calm, we're at it, yeah? Let's go. Let's go.
if that doesn't get you up for the derby, I don't know what will. A very good morning to you all here from Portman Road, where it feels very calm, it's very peaceful, but we are very excited for today's game. And I'm delighted to say alongside me we have two town legends, Alan Lee and Russell Osman. Great to have you both with us on what is going to be an exceptional day of football. Alan, as an ex-pro, and Russell, when you watch that footage back and see all the fans, the smiles, the euphoria, does it reignite that feeling in your belly?
Absolutely. I mean, it's... I retired about 12, 13 years ago, but it really feels like yesterday. I guess the point where I really miss it, there's lots I don't miss, but it's, it's that kick-off, these special events coming up to kick-off, local derby. I wish I was there with the team.
Russell, what about yourself? Does it bring back some old memories of playing for this wonderful football club?
It does. The derby days were great. Love the atmosphere. I moved to other clubs and we still had local derbies, but this was always something special. There's a nice little bit of rivalry. And what we've got to make sure today is that we treat it like a derby as well. It means a lot to the supporters, especially this time in the season. Yeah,
we spoke briefly, me and Russell, earlier about this derby performance. Just how different is a derby performance compared to a regular league match?
Well, I guess you've an opportunity, as a player, you've an opportunity to do something special. To score that goal. Any goal today is celebrated like you've just won the FA Cup final. So for me, the players, end of a long season, some of them will be tired, but they won't need any motivation for today, and there's a wonderful opportunity for someone to be a hero.
Dar O'Shea did that famous huddle that we've seen there in that clip. Yeah. How quickly do players that are coming into the team need to understand just what this game means to so many people?
Well, you would hope that the more experienced players will make sure that the lesser experienced players are really aware of what's going on and what it does mean to not only to the players but also to the staff involved at the club and the supporters. And it's a difficult day for the supporters today, going up there for 12:30 kick-off. There's no trains running, and to get there to Carrow Road, it's a big effort from the supporters to get there. It's not the longest journey, but it's difficult to make it. And with all the expectations that they go with, you just want to come away with as many points as possible. You don't want to get beat in a local derby.
There's a lot at stake for both sides, really. Norwich have an outside chance of reaching the players. They've turned some form of late. But for Ipswich, with the draw last night, we're now 3 games in advance over Millwall, 1 point behind, and obviously we've got the games in hand over Middlesbrough. Did that just add a little bit extra to this game? Because 3 points for us today would just be amazing.
It would be a dream, and then obviously following it up on Tuesday night. I think that there's always a bit of pressure at this time of the season. So whoever you're going to play, there is going to be some pressure. But in a way, I think there's an opportunity. Going away from home, from my point of view, I'd rather be going away and feel that we're going there and there's maybe not as much expectations. But that's always the way I played the game. I wanted to upset people.
And with the heroes as well, is what you were sort of saying, you can go there. You scored. We'll get onto your goal very shortly. I know you scored in the derby as well, Russell. But it is a day for players to go and stake a claim and just put their name into the history books, a bit like the Jayden Philogene goal that we saw, Danny Haynes, Alex Matthey.
Yeah, Alex Matthey, I think he got a hat-trick in a local derby one day. And it's great. But when you look at it from the Norwich's point of view at the moment, they've got nothing to lose. They're on a great run. Nobody expected them to be in this position back in November. So Clemente suddenly got them involved in the league again. It's great that it's a local derby for us. They have found some form, but they've got nothing to lose. They can go out and play with a bit of freedom today. And they can say, just go out and express yourselves, show everybody what a good side we are. The pressure's on Ipswich. We need a result today.
Yeah, well, we definitely got a result in the reverse fixture. We're going to look at the bench cam now with the goals. I think this just showcases just what this meant, because it was 16 years that every town fan was waiting for. And he got off to a perfect start with Cedric Kipre scoring that goal, which I guess the first goal today is going to be equally as important because it would just settle the nerves if we do get it.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a tight first 20 minutes. I'm not sure we'll be open and expansive. You know, you don't want to give them any free hits. And yeah, that was a great result earlier in the season, and it was quite a remarkable gap amount of time between wins, which is, you know, yeah, it was long overdue.
Yeah, that was back in October 2025. It feels so long ago, and like so much has happened in this season. And obviously we got to see that Jaden Philogene goal as well, when we've sort of missed his performances, obviously through injury. But again, that goal that he scored was just incredible.
Yeah, phenomenal. You know, great player. And you can start talking about the team selection later on, but you know, he's starting the game today. Hopefully he'll be nice and fresh. You know, I want to prove a point that it wasn't just a one-off goal that he managed to score there. There's a lot of stake for all the players. But Cedric Kipre, he'll be disappointed that he's not starting today because he got the first goal there. It's important to get the first goal. I think it's the first time for a couple of years that we managed to come back from conceding the first goal and going on to win a game the other night against Birmingham, which was terrific. So we've put that to one side. I just think it's going to be a great day.
Well, someone who did score the first goal in a derby at Carrow Road, Alan Lee. We've got the footage here. We've managed to dig through the archives and dust a few tapes off.
Is it black and white?
It's not. This one's actually in colour. But Alan, look at the emotion.
Feeling.
That feeling there. Look, if you could bottle that up, I can just see the emotion on your face. What was going through your head when you scored that?
Well, you just go bananas. I mean, it's like I often say in a talk to young players and that like Elon Musk cannot buy that feeling. All right,
he probably could.
There's no way of replicating it. But if you look here, actually, and that's who was that? It's Pablo, wasn't it?
Pablo Cunyago.
Just the weight of that pass was magnificent, and you're just fighting to keep it down. But yeah, nothing. You just go nuts.
But you won the flick on first.
Yeah.
Flicked it on to Pablo, spun round, played a nice little 1-2 with him. And then the goalkeeper must have thought, ooh, I don't particularly fancy Alan Lee coming in.
I'll be honest, I was quite pleased with that goal. I had a great relationship with Pablo because, you know, he was classic number 10, but he'd start high with me. I might drop into the hole, then vacate it, and he'd step in. And you just always knew if he's going to get the ball, he could just take it and turn. So the second it's going into him, I'd be making my move. And he was wonderful to play with.
How important is that partnership to have when you've got a player that you know is going to put the ball where you need it, and vice versa?
Well, we complemented each other. And there was times we'd go long. You know, and certainly in those days we'd always kick it long, and John Walters was on the right, and between us we generally stopped the ball coming back into our half. Like Pablo, it's lovely to see Pablo, but we weren't like really close friends when we were playing, but we knew we were the best starters together, and we knew exactly what each other one was going to do.
Russell, unfortunately we haven't got the goal that you scored against Norwich. It was hard enough trying to find Alan's, to be fair. But do you echo the sort of emotions and feelings that Alan was describing there? And what was your experience of scoring in the derby?
It's so long ago now, I can't really remember it, James. I'm not surprised you couldn't find it. You know, what sticks in my mind, the big disappointment when we lost in '85 in the quarter-final of the semi-final of the Milk Cup competition. Then that was, you know, we got kicked off the park really, and it wasn't a very good refereeing display. I'll be honest, but those days are long gone. More interestingly, I just want to see the lads play well today. You know, you look at the way that Alan and Pablo combined on Alan's goal, and you start talking about combinations. And I know we make a lot of changes to the side, but we have built one or two good understandings there with people. So, you know, we're a good side at the moment.
Yeah, we are a good side indeed. Right, we spoke about what this day means to the supporters. And as we sit here right now, the Three Lions Lounge is buzzing with Blues fans. And earlier on, I caught up with a couple to get their thoughts ahead of today's game. We are with Natalie, Alex and Catherine, wearing your colours. Love to see it. How are you feeling about today's game? Because it's massive.
Nervous, very nervous, as always.
Alex, I can't help but notice you haven't got an Ipswich Town shirt on.
I'm a neutral in all of this, sorry to say.
But as a neutral, I presume you're supporting the Blues today.
Happy wife, happy life.
How do you see this game going in what is going to be a huge derby match with so much at stake?
I think it's going to be a tough one, but I think coming on the back of a win at home early this season, I think we'll give them a run for their money. But yeah, I think Norwich are quite in form at the moment, but I think we'll definitely give them a challenge, and we're definitely up for it as a team. So yeah, hopefully 3 points, and they'll know what it means to us as well to get those 3 points today, as well as East Anglian pride. So I think they're going to come at us, and I think we'll be ready for the occasion.
How much did you enjoy the occasion here at Portman Road when we beat them 3-1?
I was ecstatic.
Bet she was a happy wife there, wasn't she?
Very happy, very, very happy.
I'd waited a lot of years for that. I've been to a lot of the games, obviously, where we've lost, so including playoff finals against Norwich, and so yeah, lots of bad memories. But yeah, it was amazing just to get that win finally. So, yeah.
With that being said, can I get a score prediction from all three of you, if that's okay?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Ipswich.
2-1 to Ipswich.
2-0 Ipswich.
3-2 to Ipswich.
3-2. That sounds like a very exciting game. Right, have a lovely day in the Three Lions Lounge. Yes, it's set up to have a lovely, lovely day in the Three Lions Lounge. It's going to be great in there. Right, hopefully those fans will be celebrating here at Portman Road just like they did on Easter Monday against Birmingham City.
Here's Matchday, where Nunes can't quite reach it, but the ball breaks for Nunes, and now McAteer lining one up just over the crossbar towards George Hurst. Hurst again battling away with the women. That's a good advantage played by the referee, and then Nunes trying to find McAteer, and McAteer can't quite reach it.
I think Town could just try up it a little bit more.
Here is Hurst with the chest control into McAteer. McAteer denied by Beadle. As Birmingham come forward now, and it's Stansfield, and Vicente sweeps it home. McAteer pressurising Gray. Loose ball's going to drop for Furlong here inside the box, and it's Johnson at the back post, and it's turned away. The whistle blows, Ipswich are level. Referee Adam Herzeg. Good burst into the challenge. Nunes into Clark. Clark has options ahead of him, sliding it forward for Hurst. Hurst, McAteer into the penalty area, scores! Brilliant goal for Ipswich Town. Brilliant goal from Casey McAteer. Here is Furlong. Furlong skips out, McAteer plays it forward to Mehmeti. Mehmeti inside the penalty area, trying to cut it back towards Hurst. Nunes to deliver from the near side, and it comes, there's the header from Hurst. Nunes picks up the loose ball in the centre circle, McAteer trying to race in there, and McAteer might be in again. McAteer inside the penalty area, just wide. Here's Osman into the penalty area now, getting to the byline, and it's, I think, out of play maybe. Osman has maybe run the ball out of play as he cut it back. Philogene prepares to deliver, and it comes towards O'Shea, helps it goalwards. Out to Osman on the left side. Osman lines one up, and Walton saves it onto the post, and then the block comes in. Fantastic save from Walton, and then the block, I think it was Greaves. In comes the delivery from deep on the left. Walton gathers, brilliant goalkeeping. Yeah, a crucial 3 points for the Blues, which did put us into second place, but due to the game last night with Millwall's drawing, we are now back into third, but obviously all the games in hand and whatnot. Russell, you mentioned it earlier on, that's really impressive, the fact that we went behind first to come back and win a game where 3 points was a must.
Yeah, it was a must. You know, the home games, we haven't got many home games left, have we? But only a couple. And when you look at the Birmingham game, it was imperative that we got the 3 points there. Because then we've got this Norwich game away from home, we've then got Portsmouth away from home, then playing Middlesbrough. I mean, Middlesbrough is going to be a tough game in its own right, but after Middlesbrough, we then go 3 away games back to back, you know, and then the last game of the season is a home game, you know, which hopefully will be neither here nor there. The job will be done by then.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Alan, what impressed you about that performance? Kieran McKenna called it outstanding, and I think we're seeing a lot in football these days. It's the performance sort of goes out a window. It's results-based now, but if you can get both, then brilliant.
Absolutely, yeah, huge result. I mean, I was here, I was really fearful. You know, when that first, it was just when McAteer went through and missed that that chance. And I've been there, through on goal, and when your confidence isn't up, and for them to go and score the next goal, I just thought, oh God. So delighted that he ended up getting his goal.
Could have had 3, couldn't he?
He could have, but he needed that, and you could see he showed a lot of emotion in his celebration, and also shout out to Hurst there for the little slipped ball through, a bit like Pablo did for me in the highlights.
Combinations.
So I think we can take a lot of confidence from that.
Yeah, it was Casey McAteer's first goal for the club, and you say after missing a couple of chances that Town fans would probably be hoping that he'd have scored, it's really good for him to get that. And a bit like your goal that we saw against Norwich, the celebration, the emotion, you could see that in his celebration, probably what that meant to him in that moment.
Well, you're judged by goals, and you're judged by how many goals you create for other people. So at the end of the day, you've either got to be creating goals or you've got to be scoring goals to justify your starting position in the side. And he's done well. It hasn't quite worked as well for him as everybody expected as early on from when he came from Leicester. But, he's persevered, he's stuck in there. They've shown some confidence in him. And he will be disappointed that he's not in the starting lineup today.
7 games to go, of which 2 are at home here. The one thing I pointed out to Russell earlier on is that we haven't got any 3 o'clock kickoffs anymore. We've got lunch times, middays, 12:30s, and obviously the ones on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night are always 7:45. Obviously, that's difficult for the fans, which is going to be very disappointing. No doubt they'll all manage to get there somehow. But as players, does that change anything in terms of the training patterns with the times that we kick off now?
I mean, they'll have to make all sorts of changes. It's becoming more prevalent, I think, in the modern games. They'll probably be more used to different kick-off times, different days than what we were. From a personal point of view, I liked having the routine. I wouldn't really have appreciated it. They've got wonderful sports science nowadays, and as you can see, our players are very, very fit and in good condition. But it's the mental aspect. You have to remember these guys have been through a really long season, and it's around this time it starts to drag.
Yeah, it's all about finding a way to win. We're just going to have another look at the goals from the Birmingham game. Probably an unlikely scorer for the first, Ben Johnson, who has taken his chance with Leaf being out suspended, and he's done a fantastic job. We probably didn't expect him to get on the score sheet, but just how important was this goal, Russell?
Well, it was vital at the end of the day to get back on level terms as quickly as they managed to, and that set the scene for the rest of the match, really. You didn't really want to go into the half-time period a goal down. So back on level terms then. And he's done well because he's had to come in and deputise for Leif Davis while he was suspended. And it's not as if he's a natural left back either, or left-sided player, but he's shown that he can do a job there. He's a good athlete, prepared to get forward like Leif Davis does so well. And this time he got on the end of it. And I think the way we play, our left back, whether it's Johnson or Leif Davis, should get 6-8 goals a season.
He did his best to miss it, actually, didn't he?
But wasn't the cleanest connection.
Just a word, what a great cross. It's never a bad ball. Leave it in that area. Very hard to defend against.
This was a good ball.
This was a brilliant bit of build-up play as well, with Jack Clark, Hursty and Casey McAteer scoring from 6 yards out, which you'd expect him to do.
Well, yes, but on the back of what it's all right from the stands to say that, but when you're doubting yourself and you've had you've missed a good chance, but you can see as soon as Hurst is getting this, he's on his bike, and it's great movement, really good movement.
It's not too dissimilar from the position where you were for that Norwich goal. You're a natural-born striker. You know where the back of the net is. For someone like Casey who plays out wide, and like you've said there might be a load of things going through his head with confidence. I should be scoring this. Do you, as a striker, have that instinct just to bury it, or for someone like Casey, do you think he's thinking about it?
I tell you, you get different sorts of finishes all the time, but certainly when you're lacking confidence, you don't want something that you've got time to think of. All right, so when you're playing your best, you're not thinking, you're just slotting it, and certainly that was how I felt again for that Norwich goal. And again, I think he just had one option there. It was kind of a simple option: keep it low, put it across the keeper, and he was probably grateful for that.
Yeah, the whole movement reflected confidence, though, didn't it? You know, the way they had a touch on the ball when the first pass was forward, the second pass was forward, the third pass was forward, and ran it off with a good finish. Everything was quick and moving quickly and going in the right direction.
Yeah, it sets up for a cracking game this afternoon. Right, October the 5th, 2025 is a date that every Ipswich Town fan will remember. The 16-year wait finally came to an end as Ipswich Town put on a brilliant performance, beating Norwich City 3-1 at Portman Road. I think every Ipswich Town fan woke up this morning and watched that Ulay on YouTube or Googled Ipswich Town versus Norwich just to get a little taste of what it was like, and hopefully we can replicate that this afternoon. One man that everyone will be talking about is Marcelino Nunez. He starts on the bench for Ipswich today, but the scenes from all those images were absolutely fantastic. Just what is it like for players going back and playing against their old club, especially in a derby like this?
Yeah, well, I've experienced of it, of course. I suppose there's two elements. First, as a professional, you don't, like any game you go out in, you want to win. Your fans pay your wages, so you know, I wouldn't say, certainly from my point of view, that no lack of effort would want to win that game. But what's unusual when you come back to a club like this, when I came back playing for Norwich, I had so many friends here. So from a personal point of view, it's really hard going into the away dressing room, and you certainly feel a bit sheepish at times.
I would have loved to seen you waving a flag for Ipswich, like Marcelino Nunez. Not the other way around, of course. But Russell, for someone like Nunez, obviously he would have been desperate to start the game today. But do you think that's a little bit of game management or emotional management from Kieran McKenna, because we know what he can do on the football pitch?
Yeah, there's a bit of both, isn't there? Emotionally, he definitely will want to play. You know, the manager emotionally will want him to play, and he would have been toying with the idea of starting with him because he's done so well, and it could go so well. Or you look at the game and you say, right, well, let's keep things tight for the first hour, maybe, and you pick a side, and then you think, well, let's save Nunez for the last half hour of the game where he might be able to unlock something if we need him. In hindsight, with a crystal ball, you know, football management's easy.
It's difficult for managers, isn't it, though, because every single player will want to play every game of the season, so he's always going to be letting someone down. I guess when it's the big derby, it probably just has that extra little bit of sting to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Being a manager, it's must be the hardest thing. You could
possibly pick 10 different teams, couldn't you, today?
Yeah.
You know, we could all put a team down and we wouldn't have the same 11.
He'll be disappointed today. You know, he's been playing well, but you know, we know better than to question Kieran. He's done so well for us, and there's, you know, only he knows what's going on the background and where those lads are mentally. But I think there's no question we'll see him make an appearance in this game, and he will have an impact.
It's a different side that we're seeing from Norwich City. That the ones that turned up here, they were sort of down at the bottom. They were struggling. They brought in Philippe Clement, who has, to his credit, turned their ship around. So what kind of challenge are you expecting to see today that might be different from the one that we got here?
I think it's the challenge of the unknown, really. You're not quite sure what sort of Norwich side are going to put out today. Different faces, different players, different manager, a whole new ball game for us. And I think what we've got to be careful of is we don't concentrate too much on the side that Norwich are going to put out, and we just make sure we concentrate on our own game and just go out and make sure that Norwich are the team that are trying to chase a result.
Alan, you mentioned that you liked playing the away fixture, bit of less pressure, shall we say. How do the players manage those emotions? Because they are going to be revved up, they are going to be firing. We know the atmosphere is going to be electric.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all football teams and squads have leaders, so you know, they'll play an important part today. I think it's first 15, nothing silly. Don't give them anything. No silly yellow cards, no red cards, no mistakes. You know, I believe we'll be keeping it tight initially, but we've got a great player in Philogene. You know, if we can keep it tight and get him running or get him isolating the right back, we know that kid can do anything.
The lads no doubt have had a good week's worth of training after the Easter Monday game. The sun was shining, the sprinklers are on. It looks like a lovely place to do your business and work. But just how different are the build-up in training to a game in a derby against your rivals?
I don't particularly think there's too much to worry about. It's just a normal session, a normal week. You try and keep everybody calm and focused on what they're doing on that particular day. You know, you talk about the emotion of the games and how it affects players. You know, I played with Terry Butcher and Paul Marner, who walked down the corridor, you know, smashing the fist against the opposition door and shouting and screaming, and then put the fear of God in the opposition. But by the time they got out on the pitch, they were all calm and just ready to do the job, you know, and it was like a controlled aggression or controlled anger or controlled emotion then.
With those emotions, Kieran McKenna mentioned that the external pressure now on every game is ramped up by the media. You hear it on the way in. I was listening to Talk Sport on the radio. It's, you know, Ipswich, you know, if they can win this game and this game, then we all start doing the calculations in our head. As players that have been in the game, how do you deal with those emotions? And is it possible to block out the outside noise?
I suppose different people have different views and ways of dealing with it. You know, as a player, and all the Ipswich players, any interactions with fans this week will all be about the derby and Norwich and what's going to happen. So there's no escaping it. For me, as I got older, I embraced that. So I kind of needed to get angry. I needed to get excited. And the nerves, I kind of learned as I got older that I can use those to my advantage, and they help me.
Opportunity is a big word that is used in football, and I'm probably going to go against what I was just saying about the media bigging it up, but it is a huge opportunity for these boys, and they'll understand that, I guess, with the games in hands. And we know that when we go into that Middlesbrough game, as fans, we're all working it out, we could be 6 points clear of them. So it all adds up. And did you ever feel that pressure as a player, and will they be feeling that at all? They look at it every one game at a time, as they say.
Pressure is for car tyres. And I think when you're playing football with your mates, it's, you know, you don't realise how much pressure other people imagine that there is in certain situations. You know, you should be going out there and playing football with your pals and making the most of it, every opportunity you get. But it does affect one or two people. You've just got to deal with it. You know, it's only a game of football. But there's a lot of passion there, and back in the day we didn't have to deal with the social media aspect. You know, we had the newspapers. So if your name wasn't on the back of the newspaper, no one was going to be talking about you. you might bump into a few people in the pub that might want to talk about the last game or what you're doing drinking on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning or whatever. So it's a different game these days, you know. So I would not know how I would be able to deal with looking at all the social media, building everything up, because it is, I think you have to be quite disciplined and shut yourself off to a bit of it.
They seem to have longer days now as well, which, you know, I just don't think would have suited me. I want to get, and myself and Russell will probably want to get 9 holes in the afternoon.
At least.
I'm not sure I'd be good at a 9 to 5.
Yeah, I don't think these players have been on the golf course just yet, but we can now take a look at the Ipswich Town starting 11, taking on Norwich City in what is the derby. We can see the teams arriving there. It's going to be a very nervous but hopefully exciting day. There are 4 changes to the Town side that beat Birmingham City last time out. Leif Davis returns from his suspension and will start the game at left back for the Blues. Azor Matasiwa and Jack Taylor are the midfield partnership. And Jayden Villagine, who scored against Norwich, of course, at Portman Road back in October, starts on the left this afternoon. Anis Mehmeti, who has been brilliant, Russell, since he came in. I think I've said it a few times. I think I said it to Scousy as well. What a bargain he was for a few £1 million. Just what of impact could he have on today's game?
He's a very good player. He's quick, he's very positive. I think he's a little bit like Nathan Broadhead was. You know, when Broadhead got on the ball, he was very positive in what he wanted to do. He wants to run at people and get defenders on the back foot. We're just trying to see how we think the starting 11 will line up, actually. You know, and Johnson's been deputising for Leif Davis, and you thought with Davis coming straight back in, then Johnson would be out. But Johnson's actually held his place in the 11, so we're assuming he's probably going to play down the right-hand side.
Do you think that's because of his defensive duties that we're looking to, you know, we are an attacking side, but in these games it is maybe that first half an hour, that first half, just keep it nice and tight, don't concede. Obviously what Ben Johnson does going forward and what he does back could be really useful for today's game.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. You know, I suppose a draw mightn't be the worst result for us today. You know, we'll be going out to win, and we want to win. But certainly, if I was a manager, I'd have that in the back of my mind.
George Hurst up top. We've seen a lot of good form from himself and Ivan Athon as well, who have, you know, he's really sort of coming to his own now after his loan move, after we saw him come from Italy. What are you hoping that George leads the line at today that can sort of link everything up together like Alan Lee used to do back in the heyday?
Yeah, well, he's had a tough season. And hopefully he goes out there today and just shows everybody what a good player he is. And that's just by doing what you want him to do, to be the leader on the pitch, to be the target man, to put himself about, to hold the ball up, to bring other people into play, to get on the end of stuff. You talk about needing a striker that's going to score 20 goals. Yeah, that's great. But you also need a striker that's going to bring other people into play, that you can link the play off, you know. And I think he's got good legs. He can be very difficult to play against. He just needs a bit of a break this season, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of his biggest supporters. I think he's a wonderful player. And playing number 9 in modern football is hard. You know, you don't get as many crosses. You're more isolated. You very rarely playing 2 up top. So I think he's done well. Now, I think against Birmingham, I thought he could have held it up a couple of times, a bit better. And he's definitely going to have to do that for us today. He's got to be an out ball, fight and battle for those, you know, getting the end of clearances and give us a platform to play.
Jack Taylor comes in for Dan Neil. Is that a decision that you saw coming, or what do you think Kieran's thinking is behind that one? Obviously, we're blessed in the midfield department. We've got 4 that can do any job.
I think he's looking for somebody in there that's going to put himself about a little bit, and someone not afraid to put his foot into a challenge. Not saying that that wasn't the case with Neil, but I think Jack Taylor, he'll be up for it. He's quite a passionate player. You can see he plays with a lot of passion and his heart on his sleeve. And I think he'll put himself about a little bit. And it's important that we win that midfield battle early on. And Matasiwa, we know what he does week in, week out for for Ipswich. And I think this is Kieran's way of saying, right, let's make sure for the first hour of the game that we're solid. And then we'll, if we need to change things for the last half an hour.
Well, we can definitely change things looking at the substitute bench that we've got, full of attacking options, which makes me think why there could be a sort of defensive mindfulness in the starting 11. Jack Clarke, who's had a phenomenal season, is someone who can make a huge impact from the bench, Alan.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with him all season. He seems to have come of age. He looks really comfortable here. He looks like a player that he's proved to everyone what a good player he is in an Ipswich Town shirt, and that gives you a lot of confidence. He'll be desperate to get on. Nunes will be desperate to get on, and McAteer after scoring the winner last week.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it, Alan, Jack Clarke goal threat, Nunes goal threat, Azon goal threat, Akpom having a tough time, but he's somebody that can score big goals in big games. McAteer's in some goal-scoring form at the moment. Walt Egerle's scored a couple for the under-21s the other week, so he's getting better and better week by week.
Just looking at it there, we've got Cedric Kipré, the only defensive player that we've got. We know Kieran doesn't like to have too many defenders on the bench, but we've got one. Is that a shock, Alan, or is it because, like we said, the majority of our defence is super strong on the pitch that we've got the starting 11?
I suppose, what are we likely to face? What's Kieran preparing for? And and it probably is making sure we get some sort of result. If we're 1-0 down, we know we can change the game. We've got players that can change the game.
But if he gets an injury, he can put Johnson into the back four again. He can deputise for Leif Davis. We know that. And if Dara O'Shea got injured, for example, Johnson can go back and play right side centre half, or Kipré can come on and do that job alongside Greaves. So just by moving his players around, he's got all the.
We're not 100% sure of the formation yet. There is, he's got options there as well. He could conceivably play three at the back.
It sounds like being a manager is a complete headache. You have to prepare for so many different variables. And I guess that's the blessing with the squad that we've got, because we are covered in every single area, in not just championship players, but quality championship players.
Yeah, you're trying to cover all bases, aren't you? And Bobby Robson was great at was getting the players to fit well next to each other. So, your midfield players all worked off each other, and, you play to each other's strengths.
Right, the Ipswich Town team is there for everyone to see. We can now get the Norwich City starting 11 and subs with our lead commentator, Glenn Wheeler.
Thank you very much, Curly. Well, following the Canaries' impressive comeback win at Millwall on Easter Monday, Philippe Clement names an unchanged 11 to start the East Anglian derby. Serbian goalkeeper Vladan Kovacevic celebrates his 28th birthday today, but he was powerless to stop Jadon Philigine's screamer in the reverse fixture. He starts again this afternoon, protected by a back four of Jack Stacey, Harry Darling, Jose Cordoba and Kellen Fisher. In central midfield, QPR loanee Sam Field is partnered by Pella Matson, who has scored in each of Norwich's last 3 games. That means that 34-year-old Kenny McLean will once again show his versatility, as he will captain the hosts whilst operating on the right. The opposite flank will be occupied by Canada international winger Ali Ahmed, who has contributed 4 goals and 3 assists since his January move from Vancouver Whitecaps. Matthias Kvistgoren has started the last 7, and he is once again selected to lead the line. The Norwich substitute bench includes an Ipswich Academy graduate in the form of Liam Gibbs, whilst winter acquisitions Paris Magoma and Mohamed Toure have impressed since their arrival and will be ready to make an impact if called upon.
Brilliant stuff as always, Glenn. Now, before we let you start your preparation and commentating on this game, I've got one question for you. We've been talking about Derby Day moments. Alan Lee and Russell Osman have both scored, but as a fan, as a supporter, what has been your favourite Derby Day moment?
Well, this is my 4th one that I'm covering now, Curly, and obviously I think I mentioned it earlier, the Jadon Philogene screamer was an unbelievable moment when that hit the top corner, but also Jack Clarke wrapping up that win when I think the Town fans knew that 16 years of hurt were coming to an end.
As a commentator, when you're commentating on the Derby game as well, does it have that extra bit of fire in your belly as well?
It's an interesting one, Curly. I try and really calm down. I remember the first derby I did, I got overexcited, and I actually felt my performance was a little bit off. Now I just try and get up, follow my usual routine, and go from there. But yeah, it is exciting, isn't it? No doubt.
Brilliant stuff. Right, well, let's hope Darnell Furlong has continued his preparations and usual routine. He's been speaking to Town TV's Howard Bloom.
Darnell, it's Derby Day. How are you feeling for it?
Yeah, excited, really excited. A great game. It's going to be a great atmosphere, we know. Fans are already here welcoming us in, and yeah, we're going to need them, so yeah, looking forward to it.
And what's the build-up been like for this one?
Same as usual. Normal game for us in terms of build-up and everything like that. We know the stakes and what it means to the people and the fans and what it means to us as well. But in terms of prep, exactly the same, respecting the game and looking forward to it.
What do you expect to be the key areas in the game today?
I think the start's going to be very important. It's going to be, as I said, the atmosphere is going to be very strong. But it's about us playing our game. You know, we've got the quality, we've got great players, great team, great structure. So, yeah, it's just about us going out and trying to implement ourselves in the game.
How big of a boost will that way end behind you be today?
Yeah, massive. As I said, we'll need them massively. And, you know, if we can do it for them, then that's the main thing. So,
good luck today.
Thank you.
No doubt the Blues fans will be making a lot of noise in that away end. Right, we are getting closer to kick-off. Alan, how do you see this one playing out for Ipswich Town?
Do you know, I think it's written in the stars. Look, Rory McIlroy is leading the Masters.
You had to get your golf in, didn't you?
It's Matty Holland's birthday today. You know, I'm going 3-1 for Ipswich Town. You know, I think we'll go there and upset them.
Russell?
Well, I'll be very happy with the draw at least, but I do feel that we have got a win inside us today. So I'll go 2-1 to us.
Right, well, as it is Matty Holland's birthday, hopefully the birthday gift for you is 3 points for Ipswich Town against Norwich City. International supporters, £10 match passes are available in selected regions. You heard from him earlier. Glenn Wheeler will be joined by Ian Westlake. We are back on Matchday Live on Tuesday against Portsmouth. James Anadakis will be in the hot seat. Big thank you to you guys, for you, the fans watching, and of course, our sponsors, Fleximize. It is Norwich City versus Ipswich Town, the Canaries versus the Tractor Boys. It's the East Anglian Derby. Come on, you Blues.
Guys, today is about us, yeah? Us and our people. Every one of these fans here, yeah? And I'm sure this place is childhood and the bits of course too, yeah? Do yourself proud today. Do them proud too, right? Intensity, fight, and everything. But we played. We're calm. We're at it, yeah? Let's go. Go.
Turning away from Matson, finishing on his leg! Oh my goodness! One of the greatest Derby Day goals you will ever see! And on 21 is on the boys! Clark is there for the rebound! It's 3-1!
Just like football, business moves fast. And when you need funding, there's no time to wait. At Fleximize, we keep things simple. No penalties, no red cards, just fast, flexible business loans. We only ask for the essentials and you'll get a decision within 24 hours. Once approved, the funds are in your account the same day. Fleximize, let's fund your goals.
When we started this, did we ever think we'd have a partnership with a football club? Absolutely not. This is beyond our wildest dreams. We pretty much exclusively hire graduates at Halo. We're very proud of our Suffolk roots. Halo's a pretty passionate, positive, enthusiastic place generally, but when you've also got what's going on at the football club, and it's just blending passion and enthusiasm.